Happy Monday night, everybody. Scott Morgan, Motor City Madmouth. Pleased to bring you the professor and the pupil. My pupil, Stephen Reichel. Good evening, Mr. Reichel.
How you doing, my friend?
We're back at it. Been out for a few weeks, no big deal. Stephen's been doing an awesome job holding down the fort when we went to Europe.
I think it's almost a month now, ain't it? It's been 4 weeks.
It's been a month, but we got some pretty good stuff. In that month of time, though, we had an opportunity to scrutinize this is where we can make additions and where we can experiment in certain ways. So it's all good. That's what I love about this show, Stephen. It's a very flexible type of show that we can do a lot of different things with and see what works. In addition to coming up with some topics that we normally wouldn't come up with the regular sports shows in the first place. So it's all good. Hope everything's doing well with you. You did a really great job the last couple of weeks on the baseball show. I was really proud of your contribution. It was really, really, really good.
Gotta be the Swiss Army knife, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you're Mr. Versatile in every sense of the word, for sure. So, all right, let's get to the agenda. People are wondering why California hungry for Canadian tourism? Well, yeah, they really are. Now, we're going to lead off with that, too. California wants Canadian tourism back and is offering Canadians 25% at 1,000 hotels. What are your thoughts about that?
California needs to bring in the money in any way they can at this point in time. They're losing the ways that they've made money in the past over the past 10 years. So I guess that's their that's their way of going about it and trying to add to their tourism. I don't know why they think the Canadians are so much more inept for that. But hey, listen, however you feel you guys want to make money or and get people to come visit your state, keep doing it.
Well, by the way, good evening, Cyberuski. California is great, but too democratic for me. Okay. Right.
Hey, you say it, Cyberuski. I'm not repeating that one. You said it, brother.
That's okay. We're actually going to be a little bit flexible with these guide comments, by the way, considering I brought on a topic of this nature. So I'm giving them as much slack as I can. What's going on, Steve? Well, Cyberuski, you're in the house. It's a good thing. So let's go ahead with Joshua Dore. What's going on, Stephen? Yeah, Joshua Dore's loyal. He's a good guy. Is this a show to discuss Chris Turk's situation? No. But, no, we're always welcome to try. Surprised he hasn't moved there yet. Yeah, sometimes I wonder myself he hasn't moved to California. I know, a lighthearted show. That's what's so good about it. As far as I'm concerned, California Canadian tourism, we have a lot of it down here in Florida. We really do. In fact, a lot of the Canadians used to be actually down in Hollywood, Florida. Now they moved around the area a little
Steve
bit.
Does not know Chris Turk. No, it's not on my radar. Don't care for it, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. He's responding, Joshua. He don't care for it, but on a show like this where you're going to bring out this guy's name.
I'll just say it like this: like if you got to think like I get what California's trying to do, but like that would make more sense if somebody like Washington did it. The state of Washington is trying to do it. Seattle's trying to, because of the. You have a whole state to go through to kind of push Canadian tourism. It's just, like I said, it wouldn't be my, slogan to try to bring Canadian tourism to California. I don't know what the.
I'm not sure what it is. Either.
What the thinking behind that was, but hey, like I said, if you're losing tourism in different ways, you got to try to add tourism in different ways too. So, whatever they think is best for the state of California, have at it, my friend. Have at it.
Yeah, but with all due respect, I will say this: a lot of the California residents are moving to Arizona and Las Vegas because the cost of living is less. So they're taking a hit that way. Now, if they're looking for Canadian tourism, what's going to end up happening, though, Stephen, they'll get it from Vancouver and all those cities on the West Coast, because a lot of the Florida people, you generally see them come from Toronto and Montreal. So I can see where there is a little bit of a spike in the dime, but a lot of California residents are going to, if you've ever lived out west, and I have lived in the metropolitan Phoenix area, there are a lot of Californians out there, and now they're migrating over to Las Vegas. And that's where probably some of the Raiders fans have been able to follow them over to Vegas.
Yeah, you're definitely losing it with that. But also, like, businesses are kind of heading out of California too. Isn't I seen a rumor? I don't know if it was true because I didn't really like look into it that much. I heard In and Out Burgers leaving California. So
You know what? I just heard that too. Isn't it? I think they're headed to Tennessee, aren't they? I think I heard something
yeah,
about that
yeah,
today.
that's what I seen. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. Good evening, JD Wyatt. Good to have you back in. Southern Fried Chicken. What's going on? There you go. Get some camaraderie, JD, Baba. Hey, all right, it's okay. It's all lighthearted stuff. So yeah, I actually read that, Stephen, about In and Out Burger today, heading over to
Yeah.
Tennessee. Let's face
So
it, it's expensive in
listen,
California. Don't get me
they got a
wrong. I
lot
love
of
California.
out
I
there
think
bringing in Canadian tourism. So
yeah, this one's funny. Like I said, Rusey, now we're into the food theme. That's okay. With a show like this, we can do it. KFC is looking to move out of California. Join the club, pal. I think they probably are. I think that KFC moving out of Kentucky, aren't they? Head down to Texas, so last I heard. But since I ate tonight, and I know they're going to ask me what I ate, I'll just tell them right now, guys, save it. I had Subway tonight. The sweet chicken teriyaki was pretty good stuff. I'll have it tomorrow too because we got a foot long. But back on topic, trying to keep it real so we don't get too much out of whack. So, I mean, the reality is that if you can get tourism and you're willing to offer the Canadian 25% off at 1,000 hotels, why not do it? What do you got to lose?
like I said, if you're losing it one way or another, you got to try to revamp and come back at it. If you're somebody that lives in Canada and you're trying to plan a trip, it's 25% for hotel stays. I don't know if it's that enticing because hotels ain't cheap in California regardless. So um, like I said, it's all really up to if you're Canadian, and that's really where you want to go to kind
Right.
of sightsee or catch a game, whatever. I think at that point in time, you're losing it somewhere. So, like I said, if you're losing it, businesses and everything else, you have to try to bring it back in somewhere else. So they're doing what they can. They got a lot to fix out there. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's putting it lightly. But you know what? Since we're on the food, but since Joshua and the guys are on the food theme, there's a lot of work to be done out there. But I think the key for them to get their tourism dollars is going to actually be in Vancouver, though, because that is right up in the Pacific Northwest. That's the biggest allocation. As far as Toronto, Montreal, don't hold your breath. All right, let's talk. But now that Josh and the guys are talking about what for dinner, it's actually a great segue for where we're going to go now. These guys are actually on a pretty good roll tonight. Well, let's go ahead and think. I think that last count was a great one. We'll respond to this one, Joshua Door. Joey Chestnut, can you
His
get this
return.
back?
He has
He
returned. Joey
won
has returned.
18 Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And you know what you get paid per dog? $141 per dog. There's 71 hot dogs. First place nets you 10 grand. 10 grand to eat 100 and let's go over these numbers because they're just too surreal. I have to go over this one slowly, so my eyes aren't failing me. 18, and I repeat, Nathan's hot dog contest, $141 per dog. Hot dog, 71 hot dogs for 10 grand. What do you think of that one?
I mean, now you know why they hadn't brought him back in a few years. I mean,
Yeah, no
let's
kidding.
he had been like softly banned over the last few years from even being in the
Yeah.
tournament, and it took a little moving and shaking around because apparently Joey's going vegan or something like that, so he needed to have proper dogs, and they weren't going to accommodate that. That's why he hasn't competing in the Nathan Hot Dog Challenge. So. I mean, it's good to see him back there. He's a bit of an icon now, just from over the last 10 years of him doing it. So, but as far as that dollar, man, like, listen, hey, if that's what they're paying you per dog, more power to the man.
Well, it really comes down to this, pal. You and I both know this. We're not idiots. It's called ratings.
Yeah,
Ratings.
Listen,
Ah,
he like it's just like, and when we talk about like any athlete, regardless of if we're talking LeBron James, if we're talking Alexander Ovechkin, if we're talking Tom Brady, etc. They bring in ratings. Same thing. Like UFC's trying to bring a an event to the White House. They're going to be talking to There's rumors that Conor McGregor is going to return to fighting. He hasn't fighting in
right,
years. You need people that bring eyes onto what you're doing. So
right.
if you're having a hot dog contest, eating contest, and you don't have your star attraction, people ain't gonna tune in. He's synonymous with it. Even when he eventually retires, if you're smart, you have him MC the event. You do something to keep him there. So I mean,
Well, the reality is this: nobody knows anything about golf until Tiger Woods is involved. Who, I mean, who won the Open this weekend? I'm trying to
I
remember.
mean,
I mean,
he
come
got
on,
more
let's get
eyes in the
real.
sport. He made it fun. Like it's not it's like with a Jack Nicklaus didn't involve. Didn't
Right,
exist. Arnold Palmer didn't exist. No, he
right.
made it fun. He made it to get more people to kind of tune in to watch it. It's one of those things like just some of these athletes they just have kids what a kids call it aura now, right? They have this it quality that makes the whatever they're doing must watch TV. So you're gonna have to have the, if they're smart, they find somebody else that has that aura that Joey Chestnut has, or else
Right.
we could be talking about this disappearing of the contest in the next 10 years.
That's true. Well, let's not kid ourselves. Tiger Woods put golf on the map. Joshua Dorr, if you're still watching, and Tyberuski, who won that golf tournament over the weekend? I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe you can look it up. LeBron. I know that this guy here is certainly one of the better golfers out there. I don't follow the sport. I've been so busy with the Marlins and just trying to get my strength back from all the traveling. But if it comes up, Joshua Dorr, Candy, if you know who won the Open this weekend, please notify us. We'll put them on because golf has a lot of great golfers out there. The only problem with golf is they just take a backseat to the four major sports. Anybody that wants to come up with it, fine. But the reality is Joey Chestnut is in a class by himself. He really is. And they needed him in the worst.
Scotty Scheffler.
Scott, there you go. Scott, thanks, Candy. So
Yep.
Scotty Scheffler obviously is a guy that will bring people to the table as well. And when you have legendary golfers that are winning an awful lot of tournaments, and they're going to draw. And Scotty Scheffler is one of the bigger names that's really out there. Thanks, Candy. Who's been able to put this net? Again, golf is a really tough sport. I played it my fair share of times, with all due respect, but it just doesn't have the marquee value that a lot of the four major sports do. But in terms of the grind, the rigors, what these guys got to go through, to me, it's just unbelievable stuff. It really is. But as far as Joey Chestnut is concerned, they needed him back in the worst way just to be able to go ahead, Stephen, and make sure that they needed him in the worst way.
I don't know what's going to make golf exciting again. Maybe Happy Gilmore coming out this week. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming back out this week. You get some new people. You get the newer generation involved. Like listen,
Gilmore.
Not to sit there and say like golf, needs this or that, but let's be honest, it hasn't been the same since a Tiger Woods left, and you need to find that athlete that gets people excited for it, and it wasn't just because Tiger Woods was a minority. He made it fun. You have to be, animated in a certain way. Like you got to remember, like basically golf was the ugly polo shirts and the khaki pants, and that's what golf's been for forever. It was the a bad pun, but it was the old rich white guy sport. It always has been. But
nobody could sit here and tell me that when Tiger Woods did that hard pitch,
that's what I'm saying. Like
they had energy to the place. I mean, right? You see a guy like him was doing that fist bump and showing energy. Whoop, that's contagious, man. When he does that hard fist bump, that's like as contagious as a chicken pox or the measles. It's something that's really good, and it rubs off on a crowd. I mean, Tiger Woods is the ultimate showman. The only problem is with the guy is he's such a great athlete that he suffers shoulder and knee injuries. But as far as I'm concerned, he single-handedly has put golf on the map. I know about what Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer did, but Tiger Woods in the day of social media, in terms of
Well,
what he
that's what I'm saying.
brings.
Like they need like that a Happy Gilmore character type to
Right.
kind of make golf fun again in a different way.
Well, let me tell you
There's
something.
never gonna. I don't care what anyone says. There's never gonna be another Tiger Woods. It's not.
No,
gonna
they
happen.
won't. But I'll tell you, the guy I was hoping that would really take the sport by storm was John Daly. Man, that guy can slam a golf ball from here to Alaska. John Daly was unbelievable. This guy. I mean, he had the
But Todd
prototypical
also
way.
he I guess he was an Happy Gilmore-esque type character.
Yeah.
He's now as he's older and become who he is, he's smoking cigars, drinking beers, doing whatever. He's starting to remind me more of Santa Claus than the John Daly we knew when he was in his prime as a golfer. But
Yeah, when you think about, I mean, think about this. What Tiger Woods did is when he entered his first Masters, blew away the field. They had to try to make it Tiger-proof is what they had to do with this guy. That's how badly he lapped the field 9 million times over. You're talking about the Masters tournament. But let's not take away from Joey, okay? When we talk about iconic people, winning a event 18 times, I'm not talking 8, I'm talking 18. That's just unbelievable. Hey, Joey, you had them on the ropes. You knew you were going to get ratings. They needed you in the worst way. And I tell you one thing, $141 for a hot dog, 71 hot dogs, not a bad way to make 10 grand
hey,
for
man,
just about an
where
hour.
do I get that contract at? I needs that.
Yeah, and I don't know. That contract reminds me of Bobby Bonilla. Oh, maybe not quite that good. But I'll tell you one thing, we're going to go to a station break, Andy. Go ahead.
You are listening to the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company. We published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved. Old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There is also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. Go check it out. If you like to watch videos and you have yet to subscribe to the South Florida Tribune, please subscribe now and then turn on those notifications. If you like to watch videos, we're going to be inundating you with a bunch of different ones. In fact, on our excursions, we visited not only the World Cup champion Chelsea Football Club from London, and we toured their facilities. So we're going to be putting up videos about that on the tour. So go check it out so you get notified of all of our times when we go live. The same with Steven's got his YouTube channel too. Go subscribe there too as well. If you like to listen to the audio version, we have the audio version up. Wherever you get your podcast, you can find us. If you want to advertise, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have ideas on shows or topics, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to the show.
Hey, Steven, I got an idea. What do you think, my friend? We're going to put some golf topics on this show. What do you think? We don't give it a lot of attention, a lot of the bigger shows. Let's start doing a little bit of research on them and give our guys with the polo shirts a little bit of love. Why not? What do we got to lose? That's the best part about
I'm just saying,
show.
You'll never catch me in one of them shirts. I promise you.
No, I know what kind of attire you wear. You don't have to worry about that. That's okay. I wear golf shirts and all kinds of stuff.
I
But
think
you
the
don't want to
premiere.
wear.
I was talking about Happy Gil. I think the premieres tonight because I was just going looking through my social. And I just seen a picture of Adam Sandler and John Daly, since John's going to be in the second movie.
funny.
So I think the premiere's tonight because it's going to be on Netflix. I think the 25th. So as I said, man, listen, golf has an impossible mission in front of them. They have to find another athlete that's endearing, is can put wins together that is as popular as a Tiger Woods, as as outspoken as a John Dale. They have an impossible mission in front of them. You need to have a PR team to kind of re-image what they are as a sport if they want to even sniff competition at any of these outlier in sports. NASCAR beats them down. Wheels over balls all day long. So it's like they are like, when we're talking about sports outside of the big four, they have to beat racing before they can worry about anything, and it's just not going to happen.
Well, let me tell you one thing about the sport, though. Jim Nance is quite a broadcaster. He could be broadcasting a Masters for a while, and even Joe Buck took a swing at this thing as well. But when I asked Jim Nance if he ever wanted to do baseball, no, I'm not doing baseball. And I met him a couple of years. Jim was a nice guy.
He doesn't want that marathon.
No, he doesn't. Jim said he's happy with golf, but I'll tell you, they attract some pretty good announcers for sure. I won't get into all of them now, but they give it a little
I was
shout out.
teasing Ben about announcers last week because I seen Florida was looking for new the Florida football team was looking for new PA announcers. He's like, nope, I'm not doing it. Nope.
I never know when I'm going to throw that in there as well. Great point, though. Hey, George Rivera, it's nice to have you on the show tonight. So there you go. There's golf. We'll be talking about golf from time to time here on Professor and the People. But once again, Joey Chestnut, proud of you. Now you won 18 Nathan's Hot Dog contest, and you hold all the leverage. That's for sure. But to get a Bobby Bonilla contract, I don't know. But on Wednesday night's edition of Sports Exchange, we talked about Around the Horn tenure coming to an end. And we're going to add this number again when we come back on Wednesday night. But Around the Horn drew 482,000 viewers for their final episode. Did you watch that show much at all?
I used to, but it was just like, the one thing you have to say about Around the Horn, it was a off-brand type of sports talk show. It was ran in a different way. You had a platform where you could have multiple different personalities on there, and they all brought a little something to it. I mean, everyone kind of attributes Around the Horn to Michael Wilbon and guys like that, but there's other guys that were involved in that. It just made it fun because like it wasn't just a normal talk show where we all have talking points about X topic, B topic, and that was it. That
Right.
Basically the way, if anyone's unfamiliar with it, it was a point system. If you when
Right.
you made your rebuttal or your case and your point, you'd see the little number at the bottom. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. You wound up getting 2 points, 3 points, 5 points, whatever. If a personality was making good points and good counterpoints, and at the end, your winner would have his last parting shot there at the end of the show. But like, I mean, I guess people were tuning in to say goodbye. As we've seen, a lot of the programming is getting a revampness, and some of it that is needed, some of it isn't. I say it all the time that there's just some people on there that clearly have an agenda, and that they probably shouldn't be on TV. But I don't know why we would have had to have Around the Horn gone and put the rest, so to speak, when you have so many other terrible programming, regardless if we're talking Fox Sports 1, ESPN, when it comes to these morning media talk shows. So I felt other shows could have probably gotten it, as as both me and you felt on Wednesday that
Right.
the revamping of Fox Sports One was a notable thing to kind of talk about, and it
Right.
should be like I still feel that Joy Taylor has a spot in our our media world. I don't know if she's going to land somewhere with Fox Sports One. She's been with them since she was, you know, cow, cowherds basically, right hand woman for a long time before she ventured out on her own and was
Right.
doing her own programming, whatever. And you could say it's for ratings. You could sit there and say a bunch of things. I still think you have a group of guys on there that should probably carry these shows, and some of them left a lot to be desired. You still have your Ryan Clarks that are still going to be there. Rumor is FS1 is bringing back a likes of an RG3. Where's that going to work? How's that going to fit in? I don't know, but I do think a thinning out of it was definitely worth noting. But how do you cancel a show like Around the Horn, man? It's
Well,
just
all right, I'll give you my reasons for it. Number one, if ESPN had any sense at all, they'd bring back the sports reporters. That's what they would do. That was a heck of a show. I know a little bit more information about Around the Horn than you do. Number one, I thought, to me, what I knew about these guys is if they had to get off early, then they were going to make the certain responses to get them off early, so they had to do what they do. So I view Around the Horn to me as highlight. It was fixed and predetermined ahead of time. That's what I didn't like about it. And it had these Tony Reale and Mac Kellerman judge subjectively about scores. To me is a joke. So I never liked it. I'm glad it went off the air. I didn't watch it that much. They had great broadcasters slash sports writers, but I just think the show was, I didn't care for it. But ESPN should bring back sports reporters. I used to watch that every Sunday. Pardon the interruption with Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser. I'm glad it stayed. But here, keep in mind, though, Michael Wilbon's contract is up at the end of July, so who knows what's going to happen with him. And they let him go. Yet another major mistake. But hey, 482,000 viewers for the final episode. More power to them. But I was never really, and I knew a lot of people that appeared on that show, Steven, and I met them over at other dinners and conventions around. And mark my word, one of my good friends is Bob Ryan. Now, Bob Ryan's on there. He, to me, is just unbelievable, this guy. And I've had him on a show, and we've been friends for quite a while, for sure. So that's interesting. We talked about a lot of the Fox stuff on Wednesday, and I'm going to bring this statistic up to the crew so we can finish what we have to talk about. But with all due respect, it is what it is. Well, I'd be curious to see if FS1 would ever pick it up, because I think they picked up Sports Nation from ESPN as well. I don't know, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, last topic of the night, and then we're going to talk about what's ahead. Two-time All-Star Gene Segura, 35 years of age, announces retirement from MLB after 12 seasons. He retires with a 281 average, 1,545 hits, 110 home runs, 513 RBIs, 211 stolen bases. He played with the Angels, the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, the Mariners, the Phillies, and the Marlins. What are your thoughts about Gene Segura?
He's a fun guy to watch. He'd flash power when needed. I think he was about a little bit above average with the glove. He it's not like he was a defensive liability, but he wasn't like an all world shortstop. He was just that guy that wouldn't lose you games, but didn't always necessarily win you one. I mean, obviously, a lot of baseball players get a chance to have walk-off hits, home runs, things of that nature. And Gene Segura, had a few moments in his career. I liked him when he was here. Just, when you have guys like, Bryson Scott, and then you bring in a guy like Trey Turner, he just, it didn't make sense keeping him around for the amount of money it was going to cost for do that. And he still wanted to start in this league, so it was no point to keep him on the bench. That's why he eventually made his way down there to the Marlins when he left here in Philadelphia. But I mean, it was a fun guy to watch. Another one of those guys that memorable name, memorable guy, but not someone I would consider Hall of Fame worthy. But
Right, right.
is definitely one of those guys. Like, yeah, I remember watching him. He's a good guy, good locker room guy. You could have. I'm sure a lot of people will miss him, and listen, I wish we could have won one for him while he was here, but it's one of those things where it doesn't always fall into your cards to kind of win a championship. But yeah, Gene was a fun guy to watch.
Well, I'll say this much: you're a two-time All-Star, and you have solid stats. He was good for the game. Never hurt anybody. No, he won't get in the Hall of Fame, but he made a good living for 12 years, and he entertained a lot of people. And I think that says a lot for the man himself. I mean, let's think about this guy. Two-time All-Star, 12 seasons in the big leagues. Nothing wrong with that. He had a good career. More power to you, Gene. I wish you well in your future endeavors. All right. As we move on here, here's what we have to look for with the self-award tribute. Candy, do you have that picture of me over at Chelsea? Were you able to dig that up? Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Ken. It was just a last minute thing that we had done. One of our tours, we had to reschedule it the next day. But on July 4th, the same day that Joey Chestnut was doing his thing there, Candy and I had an opportunity at our hotel to take a tour of the Chelsea Football Club stadium. It was really neat. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to wear my Lions shirt, Detroit Lions, right? And little did I even know that Chelsea's colors are the same colors. My God. So I'm thinking to myself, well, and by the way, just an FYI, Mark Walters, who owns the Dodgers and the Lakers, actually owns Chelsea Football Club. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be releasing a bunch of videos as I tour the facility and Candy did, and we're going to try to bring it closer to everybody out there. So there you have it. That's what Candy's working diligently on right now. But think about it. Mark Walters owns them, and that was to me, that was not a trip that we planned at all. Well, because of circumstances, we ended up making it there on July 4th. It was just surreal. So everybody who's a subscriber of the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, you're going to be in for a treat because those are some really cool videos as well. As well, a lot of our European ones, but the Chelsea ones are pretty good stuff. All right. With that said, Stephen, give us an idea what you're planning to do this week.
I'm working out right now. I might possibly be having a current BKFC title holder come on this Sunday. Working on rescheduling a few of potential guests that we were supposed to have on the Fan in the end, but I'm gonna make you jealous here in a second.
All right, do it.
Because my care package from Ben came in, and I got multiple different ones of his book.
Really? Well, I'll wait for Ben to get me mine so I can send him in.
Well, I mean, I already have, like I said, I already have more than a handful here. He sent me some cards. Sent me some regular cards as well. I think what we're gonna do is we're already at the halfway point. Once we hit 1 million views, I think that'll be a giveaway point. I think when we hit 2K subscribers, I think it'll be another giveaway point. And for our people who are typically in the chat room, make sure you guys are letting yourself known on every episode, because I also want to add a third layer to that, since we have 3 books here to give away that are signed from Ben, to have to do a little care package for our most active, commenter, supporter in the chat rooms as well. Regardless if you're chatting from, YouTube, if you're chatting from Facebook, if you're chatting from X, however it happens to be, whoever, I think we'll leave it between me, you, and Candy to kind of pick out our most active commenter, and they'll also be sent a little care package, signed book, signed card. I got I still have some of the combat sports signed cards that I have, both Jessica I and recently retired UFC fighter Lauren Murphy. I also have a few other Eagles things I want to throw in. I want to put a nice little care package for our commenters who are always there, not just on my show, not just on your show, the people that we see continually commenting and supporting all the programming here on the South Florida Tribune, media network. So that I wanted to get that one out there. I did make an announcement last night as I was finishing up, which I think did go out on the reels. Hopefully StreamYard catches this one too. And we'll continue to push that out there. But I think 1 million views, 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and from now until we hit that, make sure you guys are being known. I think that my front runner to potentially win that is Cyberuski, because I always see him on all the programming. I think when everything's said and done, he'll probably be the winner of it. But we also have other people who continually contribute and comment. I think it's going to be hard to beat Cyberuski.
Cyberuski right now has the early lead, but Joshua Dorr, I'll tell you one thing, Joshua Dorr. I have a feeling somewhere along the line, if there was a horse race, it'd be a 2-horse race. Joshua Dorr's right there.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. We have a 2-horse race between these two guys. Josh and the guys do a pretty good job.
I just wanted to get it out there. We have, I think it's more than 10 signed cards from Ben, and I still have a special one that I have, which is a graded patch rookie card from Ben as well. We do have a bunch of stuff that we're going to be kind of giving away. We have a bunch of books. I'm sure Scott is already planning on throwing his book into the mix there.
Right there.
He's also going to be throwing in. So to our loyal supporters and stuff like that, make sure you are sharing. Make sure you're telling your friends to subscribe. And if you're making posts and telling people about it, don't be scared to tag me, Scott, whoever. So we know that you're showing us some love on whatever the platform is, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be X, whether it be YouTube, however you like to listen, tune in and support us. Continue to do so. Just make sure we're catching it, so we know when we're doing our giveaways that you don't get missed out. I don't want to have someone feeling like we didn't see this or wasn't catching what they were doing. So just wanted to put it out there. That's something that we've all been talking about privately. Ben just giving us a bunch more stuff. I'm going to be donating some stuff, and I might be juicing it up more. I may have a jersey. I may be able to a signed jersey I may throw in there. It all depends on how fast we hit those milestones. Right. I still think we're going to wind up hitting 1 million views before we hit 2,000 subscribers. That's just my guess, though.
I don't know. You know what? I hired you to lead my social media department for a reason, and that's exactly what you're doing, and you do a whale of a job doing that. And the thing is I gave you that show, The Real and the Rare, and I said, it's your show. Let's see what you can do with it. And you've done a masterful job making that what you've done it.
Yeah, we had fun last night. We had 2 separate interviews. Talked to a debuting fighter out there in the California area. She's going to be making her professional and promotional debut for Sean Merriman's Lights Out promotion there August 9th. I was talking to a Cowboy fan last night. Mr. Eric Lozano is going to be returning to the BKFC cage. He's going to be fighting here in Philadelphia this weekend at 2300 the Arena. That should be another fun event. So regardless if you're in the Philadelphia area, if not, you could always head over to the BKFC app or the Days In app and wind up catching this weekend's fight night card here in Philadelphia. But yeah, I'm always going to kind of throw our combat sports veterans on that program, and I'm working on a few more fun ones. And I am working on. I was initially supposed to be on last week's show, but I needed to get it rescheduled. Me and Ben are going to be talking to the first ever female coach in the NFL. Dr. Jen Walter. She's also has
Oh,
started
really?
a a women's flag football league. I think it's like Gridiron Ladies or Gridiron Girls, something to that effect. She's going to be joining us at some time, and again, over the next few days, I'm going to be working out getting Vinny Papali on. He's going to be joining us, and also I will reconfirm, but we'll probably also have former boxing champion and recent International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee Vinny Panzianza will also be joining us at some time, either late July or sometime in August. I'll have to confirm the actual time, date, etc. to see when I'm going to have Vinny on here.
Yeah, I should point out to you, Dr. Jen Walter and I are connected on LinkedIn, so I haven't. We've been back and forth here.
Yeah, I was just talking to her. I guess her media agent. There's a Kim. I forget what her last name was.
Yeah, but I'm going to reach out to her and bring her on the Motor City Madmouse show. But I'm going to wait until you get her on first and see how that plays out. But that's something I'd like to do.
Yeah,
She's
I was
really
talking with her
pioneer,
her media person, Kim Francis.
Yeah. A lot to
Working on some fun
everybody.
stuff. Gonna try to keep people engaged, involved, and stuff like that. We're gonna always have unique interviews and fun content for people to kind of connect with here on the South Florida Tribune Media Network. Just you gotta make sure you smash that notification bell to know when we're about to go live and when to tune in. Obviously we have most of our programming is kind of set in stone as far as when we go live, what time we go live. But when we're doing some of this special stuff,
Right.
And I did say it on here. I already talked to you about it. The Ricky Waters interview is getting pushed back to November 10th.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that.
More than likely, if it's being pushed back to that point, I'm pretty sure that when it airs, Mr. Waters is probably going to be in the chat room somewhere. So if you guys want to engage and enjoy it, make sure you guys are locked in. I think the way I set it up is the episode will show up on our socials. I think it's like August 10th. So
yeah, well, we have a lot in the hopper. Just so you know, everybody, after our show, Stephen and I, 108 Stitches Baseball Talk returns. We have a loaded show as well. Mickey Callaway, my manager, will be on there along with the rest of the crew. Mickey's done a really super job for us. It's always nice to have a former Major League manager on your show being able to answer the tough questions, and I think that's really cool. Trent Clark, Eric Katz, Cyclone also do a good job. Candy Emily will be joining us tonight. We'll be talking some Brewers talk as well. So I hope you can join us after we get done with Stephen and I will be back on Inside the Pigskin tomorrow. The last few weeks, so the reason why the show's been off is we were in Europe for a while, and of course, I was a little too tired to do two shows, so Stephen became a part of the baseball show, but I feel much, much better. Think about it, Stephen. I slept 17 hours on Saturday. 17 hours, and I got a fair amount today, so I feel much better. My battery's recharged. It better be, because I'm going to tell you something. Come fall.
I'm not going to lie. I took a little cat nap before today's show.
So. Oh, so what? But
no, we were getting a new washer in here. I had to move a whole bunch of stuff around so I can get in and out, and I was doing a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, sleep is one of my easiest things to do. It's all right, take a cat nap, you do what you got to do. I tell you something, what we've done the last several weeks, you'll see it with all the European videos that we have. I got the Miami Hurricanes to focus on later this year, and I love working with the Canes. They are fantastic. Cameron Gorby is one of my favorite PR guys, this guy, and he gives me whatever access I need. And
you're talking I'm surprised you didn't bring up what happened in Tennessee today, because that means your boy Cam Ward is 100% going to be the
opening. No, we got to leave that out there for another day. We got to leave it out there. I can't use them all up in one shot, but Cam Ward, though, I'll tell you one thing, it was a pleasure watching him go out there and play last year. But Cam Gorby, in my opinion, is one of the best PR guys I've ever worked with in my 46 and a half years in the business. But meanwhile, all right, Stephen, let everybody briefly know how they get a hold of you. Candy's going to finish it off with a station break. 108 Stitches Baseball Talk follow. So go ahead, Stephen, put it all out there, my friend.
Hey, listen, as I keep sitting here saying, it's real easy. Just type in my name. It's really easy to find me. Facebook, Instagram, the X handles right underneath my name there. Steve Sports Talk 1. YouTube, really easy to find me there as well. Just show me some love, but more importantly, make sure you're heading over to that YouTube channel and smashing the subscribe button if you haven't already. Here for the South Florida Tribune Media Network, where we got a lot of fun stuff going on. We're gonna be doing a lot of fun giveaways this year. Don't miss out. Make sure you guys are locked in and don't miss any of the programming we're doing here. Every one of our shows has something for everybody.
Yeah, in fact, Candy, before we went on, was working on getting a fan in the end on our audio platforms as well. So she was working on
She got
that.
it done. She got it done.
Well, I got that done, and I got his 2 real and rares up on.
She already got both of my interviews from last night already up. I already seen it.
Yep.
You don't mess around. You think we mess around? Really? Seriously, really had to get it out one time anyway. But meanwhile, all right, Candy, take us home with a station break. And first, we have 108 Stitches Baseball Talk Short.
You got it. South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved. There's some great stories in there. Get your copy today. There's also a picture of a young Scott with a young Muhammad Ali. Or if you prefer baseball, there's a picture of a young Scott with a young Tommy Lasorda as well. Go get your copy today. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. So go check it out. If you're a person that's very audio and you like to listen to things, you can check us out wherever you get your podcast. We're out there, so go check it out. If you like to watch things, you better hit that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, and then click that notification button so you get notified every time we go live. We got lots of great programming, as Stephen has said, as Scott has said, as I had said earlier. We got some great programming. I don't know why you wouldn't want to be a part of it and get notifications. If you like baseball, we talk baseball on Monday nights. If you like football, we talk football on Tuesday nights, Wednesday and Thursday nights on Sports Exchange and on Fire Up. You never know what we're going to be talking about. Tune in to find out. Thursdays on Sports Wrap, we talk a little hockey, and then Scott throws in a little one-on-one interview as well on the Motor City Madmouth show. Stephen does a little one-on-one with his real and rare. And then we have the fan in the end. We got you covered. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're getting those notifications. If you want to advertise or sponsor any one of our shows, call Scott 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to you, Scott.
Well done, Katie. Well, that does it for the Professor and People. Glad to be back on. That we do this show at around 7:15, 7:20 on Monday night as a lead-in to 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. I love doing it with Stephen, and as of tonight, we're going to start adding golf topics and non-sports topics as well to add a little bit of spice to the show as well. Golf, not there, so golf as a sport is difficult to play, and they have a lot of superstars. I don't feel it gets enough recognition like it needs, but it will be starting to get it beginning next week here on The Professor and the People. We have designated shows for certain ones. Golf has just been added as a piece of this particular puzzle. So Steve and I will be back on this network tomorrow night for Inside the Picture, but on behalf of Stephen Reichel, my right-hand man and my head of social media, etc. My name is Scott Morgan, Motor City Madmouth. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we will see you in a short bit on 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. Good night, everybody, and thank you very much for all the participation in the chat room. Joshua Dorr, George Barris, and Cyberowski, the two leaders so far for those giveaways. Hope you guys are listening and share it to everybody. All right, good night, everybody, and Stephen and I will see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Bye.